Hot damn, dude. Up 2-0 in the Eastern Conference Finals, went into Boston and took them both. Unbelievable. What a fourth quarter from your Miami Heat to go out and beat the Celtics 111-105. I mean, Grant Williams, you idiot, dude. Appreciate it, though. I appreciate the feistiness. Like, look, that Boston team wanted some fight. That's why he played there today, why they want to get a little more tenacity in there, try and bring the toughness that they did not have and they seriously lacked in that game one. And it's a little too much, dude. Just went a little too far. And Jimmy Butler, who was having a nice game, he was playing well. Wasn't one of these dominant Jim VP performances, but he was doing his thing. He was contributing everywhere. Didn't really have his jump shot going. But then all of a sudden, Mr. Chatty Chatterbox over here had a couple things to say, and he had a 3 over Jimmy Butler. He was feeling froggy, and then all hell broke loose because Jimmy hit a bucket over him. They go nose to nose. They're jawing back and forth, and then Jimmy's like, every time I get the ball, Grant Williams is going to get a bucket right in his face, which is what he did. He was getting the too small. He was mocking him. And as soon as Grant Williams started talking trash to him, Jimmy just kind of had this like, oh no, you're not saying things, are you? And Jim VP goes into full playoff Jimmy mode, Jimmy freaking Butler, Jim VP, whatever the hell you want to call him. Himmy Butler, him. He is the best player going right now on the planet. No matter how much they want to tell you, it's Jason Tatum. No matter how much they want to tell you, it's Nikola Jokic. These are all excellent, very talented people. This guy has been the best player in the playoffs, bar none, point blank, period. You can throw everybody there on the next part of the podium. Jimmy Butler is on top with the Heat anthem playing. And today, he just decided to take it home. Miami just continued to fight this entire fourth quarter, which, Joe Mazzulla has the unfortunate reality of like, oh no, I can't just use the quarters thing. I can't go there today. And to get this game, get your first 2 in Boston, does a couple of things. One, I really do think it shell shocks Boston. They have, this has been a thing that hasn't been a very tough place to play, even though they like to act like they're the best fans in the league. O'Keefe's, O'Malley's, O'Sullivan's, O'Doyle's, O'Boyle's, oh no. Even though they like to act like they're the best fans in the league, and Bill Simmons, that's even though that they want to say that place is Jimmy Butler's playpen. I mean, how many times does he have to go in there and win games in the playoffs to show you he don't care about playing in Boston? It's not that big a deal. And you saw today, I mean, just everybody on the Heat's roster outside of their 3 old guys were fantastic. Everybody just came with a big-time game. Bam Adebayo flirting with a triple-double today. Bam Adebayo and Duncan Robinson, books should be written about their chemistry. Like, I'm pretty sure if you put Duncan Robinson and Bam Adebayo in a trust fall, you put them in Squid Games, you put them in whatever the hell type of obstacle course you want to, and they would win. They're harmonious all the time, whether it's Bam setting the screen for Duncan Robinson or Bam finding him cutting. The type of communication these guys have had for the last 4 years is such a beautiful thing. And what can you say about Dunks, man? That guy brought the game back into a stranglehold because it was that third quarter was the Jason Tatum show. He was amazing. He was doing everything. He was pulling up from everywhere. He was getting to the free throw line. He was getting to his bag. He was doing all this stuff. Big time third quarter, big time rally for Boston. And they go into that. They go into it. They're up 8. Then they go right away. They go up 11 because Rob Williams gets an and one on Bam. And once again, you're finding yourself in this position where you need to come back. Robert Williams, they keep finding that cut to him and that high pick and roll to get themselves up a dozen. And then all of a sudden, Duncan Robinson and Caleb Martin start answering with some buckets. You get a couple of threes from the dunk yard, Doug. And you're right back in this thing, dude. You're right back in this thing. And Miami really just then handed it to Jimmy because that's where it took it home with Grant Williams being a dum-dum and thinking, oh, I should agitate Jimmy Butler here. And it was stupid. It was a dumb move. You had a then after that, just a monster play where Duncan gets a cut from Bam. He cut it to 2. Jimmy then goes for the lead, and they call offensive foul on Jimmy, even though it looked to me like Marcus Smart touched him on the arm. They call it marginal. This is Zach Sarber or whatever the hell his name is. Because he flopped. Like, Jimmy, like, moved his leg, and it was such a bad flop by Marcus Smart. So I feel like it should have either been no call or it should have been 3 free throws for the Heat. Nonetheless, they get it back. Boston up 2. Grant Williams then gets a dunk, so he's feeling froggy all of a sudden. Then Bam, this is the thing that I've loved about him. You know, he didn't have the most pristine game from the field today, but look at this game from Bam Adebayo, and you talk about the growth of this guy, okay? So he took 17 shots today, which is above his season average, but he was 7 of 17. But here's the key number for him: 8 free throws. So even though Bam wasn't getting all of his buckets to drop, he was still tenacious. He was attacking. He was going after their bigs. This guy's mentality has been so tough this playoffs. And people are always talking about, oh, Jimmy needs that guy. Bam's been his guy. He has been his second guy in this playoffs. And to put up a near triple-double, he passed D-Wade in double-doubles, but he nearly had his second triple-double of the playoffs. 22 points, 17 boards, 9 assists. Just a beautiful game from 13 today. And then you talk about what you got today from the role guys, or as Kenny Smith, to finally his credit, was saying, we keep painting these guys with this undrafted brush. But the games you got today, first of all, from Caleb Martin, I mean, how do you just not get more blown away by him every single day from the confidence that he plays with on defense, the energy, the confidence he plays with on offense, the confidence he has in his jump shot, the confidence that he has in his three-point shot. Hasn't put a toe on the three-point line this whole playoffs. It feels like it's been a while. The effort that he plays with every which way on defense, loose balls, all of that stuff. But he was amazing for the Heat today, and really was so critical for them in every big way. And then you have Gabe Vincent, who, again, had a really, really bad foul late, where in the last game, it was a flagrant on Jalen Brunson where he elbowed him like Bones Jones to kind of keep the Knicks hanging around. This time, it was fouling Jason Tatum on a three-point shot. But you want to know what Gabe Vincent's response was? Dude went right down the court with giant grapefruits in his shorts and took a jump shot to put the Heat back up 4. Handsome, dude. That dude is handsome, crafty, and he don't care. And you could just tell from all of these guys, from Gabe, from Max, from Duncan Robinson, from Caleb Martin, that core that they have there, that were not drafted, they have been playing with such guts this entire playoffs. And just because you think about today, like, you know, as much flowers as we give into Kevin Love and to Kyle Lowry, the champs, listen, the old don't like playing on one day's rest. And this has happened a couple times this postseason where that short turnaround has been tough on Kyle and it's been tough on Kevin. You know, today's not the day to go on Cody Zeller. I mean, like, Heat are up 2-0. But even with that being said, with your champion pedigree guys not being there, dude, I mean, what can you say about the performances from this team? Like, it's been marvelous all the way around to see what they have gotten. And I mean, I gave the biggest fist pump after that Bam put back dunk to put the Heat up by 5. I was just like, it was crazy, dude. Crazy. So, man, the Heat are up 2-0 in the mother bleeping Eastern Conference Finals, going back home for a pair. And Charles Barkley was trying to make the point afterwards on the postgame. He says that Sunday is a must-win. I look at this from 2 standpoints. One, in a way, I agree. Like, look, you think you have this team on the, like, you take the first 2 home games from a perennial favorite. Mind you, ESPN gave you a 3% chance to win the series. They were kind and they upped it to 13. I'm not letting you do that. It's a 3% chance. You live with what you picked. everybody's saying that the Heat didn't have a chance. They were 9-point underdogs in basically both games, which, by the way, they've been nothing but clutch games all year, Vegas. I don't know what you're doing. You're giving away money. But to be in this spot, you really you can put the absolute death grip if you go in there on Sunday night, which Heat fans, I know they want the message from this. Wear white hot, no mixing up the jerseys. We go all white to this game, white hot Heat playoffs. And you show them what a home court advantage is, because Miami has been awesome at home this entire postseason. And yeah, you really do. While I don't believe it's a must win, you have a chance to put the death grip on this series. And it's absolutely huge. In Boston, I think we've seen in this series, one of the things that's been noticeable about them is, look, they can get going in a run on a hurry. I think the thing that Boston just keeps counting on, though, that Philly did, is once Boston made their run against Philly would wilt. And when Boston goes on their run against Miami, Miami's response is, well, we just got to go on another run. Max Strus said this. Miami had it going in the first quarter, and then all of a sudden, Bam sits down, three of the starters sit down, and Boston somehow ends up winning that quarter 24-23. And Max Strus is just like, we knew they go to do an interview with Max Strus, and Max is like, we knew they were going to make their run, and now it's time for us to respond. And just the mentality, man. And Jimmy said this afterwards to, is it Allie LaForce, I think was the reporter? He's, she's like, describe this for me. We got dogs. They use this description of the kennel, but this team, particularly this team, and you can't look at what they've done in this postseason because everybody is focused on the record, the Hawks game, and the 3-point shooting. That's been the things that every lazy national podcast has brought up. And that's just them looking at box scores. But if you suffered through these games, which I know the people who tune into this channel regularly, the people, not the people who are coming here in the playoffs, which I do appreciate, but the people who tune in the ups and the downs and the, oh my God, he would have 15-point leads and they would blow it and they'd have to go win a game late, or they would be down 15 and they'd have to come all the way back and win late. But every single Heat game was basically the same. It was all of this. It was all big runs by the opponent, or a big run by the Heat, or a big lead by the Heat blown, and then the opponent comes back and then you have to go figure out how to win it in the fourth. That's every Heat game. They have more practice at this year than any other team. They do. It's just, and also to that effect, there were plenty of games where if Jimmy was out, or if Kyle was out, who was getting those reps? Caleb, Gabe, Duncan, Strus. So it's not only that Jimmy has the practice in this standpoint, which he does, and Bam has the practice, but those guys who are in the playoffs, who are now in their second Eastern Conference Finals in a row, you can look at them as undrafted guys, and you can do the lazy thing of, oh my God, I can't believe Heat culture. Duh. Well, I don't know where you guys have been, but these guys are good players, and they've had a ton of practice at high-pressure games and having to execute in those situations. And that's the thing that just keeps getting missed by the national media, is you just keep looking at the lack of shooting, the record, and the play-in game against the Hawks. And you keep saying, well, how's this happening? And I get you. I'm not saying it's not an incredible story, but if you want to know why they're so good and so efficient in these high-pressure situations, it's literally all they have been doing since December. It's all they've been doing since October, quite frankly. It's just up until December, a lot of those games weren't going their way. So, yeah, man, just a really gutsy performance. To not get shook by Boston's runs, I think has got Boston a little bit shell-shocked themselves. And, you look at the numbers today, you can't say, even though 105 is not a very impressive offensive game for Boston, Tatum got off to an incredible start. His fourth quarter numbers, though, again, were puzzling. He's turning the ball over late. He goes 0 for 3. Took him a while to even take a shot again in the fourth quarter. He did get his 5 free throws gifted to him from a ticky-tack foul on Bam and that foul from Gabe Vincent. So he was basically gifted those 5 points. It wasn't even I don't even like to say Jason Tatum earned those free throws. Yeah, he was a minus 13 in the fourth quarter, just crazy. And, for them to get outscored 36-22 in the final frame on your floor, phew, that's something, man. That is something. And, but, everybody else, like, you got nice games. Jaylen Brown had a tough one today. He was 7-23, 16 points. He was building a brick house, 1-7 from 3. That's another thing. There was a fascinating part on Mic'd Up where, if you go to the first quarter, Boston, Boston was, I don't remember when they went to this Mic'd Up, actually. I think it was in the first or second quarter. I don't remember. But they go to Spo, and Spo's like, telling the guys, like, look, this team can only beat us if they hit threes. And you could tell, like, this has been a point where Miami is trying to get their ass off that three-point line. And Spo's just putting it all out there. Like, you never really get anything out of those Wireds. And Spo's telling the world and his team, they can't beat us if they can't shoot threes. You're letting them get these shots. And lo and behold, they tied that stuff up, because you look at Boston from three-point land, they were 6 of 20 in the first half. And in the second half of this game, they were 4 of 15. So, I mean, like, that's not a ton of attempts, It's really just and you're matching them, Heat in the second half, 3 of 12. They hit 3, you hit 4. I mean, like, if Miami was going to come into this series, you're going to say you're going to give them a push in the second half on 3-point attempts, on 3-point shots. Take that all day, baby. All day. So just an absolute gutty, fun game with emotions. If the Heat end up winning this series, which they look very much on their way to doing, I imagine you'll get a picture. There'll be some beautiful still shot, I'm sure, of Jimmy Butler face to face with Grant Williams is kind of like the next piece of the Heat Celtics rivalry. But shout out to Grant Williams, dude, poking the bear. I mean, dumb move, but I understand. Like, he's out there, they didn't play him in the first game. Missoula doesn't seem to dig the guy. He brings him out there for toughness. He gives him toughness. Just, I wouldn't do that against Jimmy Butler. Like, Jimmy Butler, TJ Warren, Drew Holiday, Josh Hart, do these names, don't just, you can flip the switch on that guy and he's going to go into kill mode. So, man, dude, up 2-0. Coming back to Miami. Can't wait to be boots on the ground Sunday night. So I'll bring you a lot of fun video from that. But your Miami Heat winners, 111-105 in Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals.